Michael Jordan was the first basketball god of the NBA. Now, people may talk about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and those two players, but when it comes to taking the game to an iconic level, taking the game from kind of Americanized to globally, when we're talking about he was a superstar, he was a rock star. Michael Jordan was probably the most popular person in the world during the course of his NBA career. That's how special of a player Michael Jordan was. He had an aura around him. He was aggressive on the basketball court. He was aggressive off the basketball court. He said what was on his mind. He was kind of this overall presence that the NBA really never had before. And that just shows you his greatness, and that kind of shows you the reason why when people talk about these lists and the GOAT conversation and why so many people put Michael Jordan on a pedestal and say he's the GOAT, no questions ends about it. He's the best of the best, but he had this overall appeal to a mass group of people and drew a lot of people into the sport of basketball. And we have to give him his props. We have to give him his credit. And this is not even talking about his game on the basketball court. And when we start talking about his game on the basketball court, how he was one of the most skilled basketball players to ever live, one of the most clutch basketball players to ever live, one of the most freak of nature athletes to ever play the game. He was different. He was very special. And even though he played in a big man era, he was kind of one of the pioneers for guards to be in, like, a guard can be, or a wing player can be the best player on a championship team. And that's what Michael Jordan brought to the NBA. Now, I will say this documentary is special because it's getting, people that aren't basketball players who go back and watch and review old games and watch games over with. It's getting some of these casual fans the opportunity to see Michael Jordan, to see his greatness, his impact, and to see why, their parents or my parents and the older generation consider him the GOAT. And I will say this. Now, I know the older generation is going to be a little obstinate, or people in the media that wants to consider Michael Jordan the best and the greatest of all time. Is no discussion. I will say this. The same things they give credit to Michael Jordan for doing in his career, they don't give credit to LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. When it came to Michael Jordan being super competitive, Michael Jordan really not being, a decent teammate at times, they give credit towards that. Like, the media came out, everybody was on First Take, Fox Sports was talking about who cares about him not being the best teammate. He was a winner. He had this alpha dogness. The same people that do that were the same people for years in the media and controlling the narrative killed Kobe Bryant for having that Mamba mentality, having that willingness to real competitive nature to win, do everything to win, not caring what your teammates think. They used to say he was a bad teammate. Nobody wants to play with him for the Lakers in Los Angeles. They used to say all those things about Kobe Bryant. When it comes to LeBron James being 3-6 in the finals, people love to talk about LeBron James being 3-6 in the finals. But when it came to Michael Jordan and not having a winning record in the first round and not be able to get over the hump and reach the finals without having a super team or having a top 5 player in the game for the 6 out of the 8 seasons that he won a championship, or having a Hall of Fame coach and the best coach of all time in Phil Jackson, they give credit towards that. But when it comes to LeBron James and when he loses in the finals, they sit up and say, even though LeBron James is great individually and he's taken some of the most mediocre teams to the finals, they sit up and say, well, you still didn't get it done. When we all know that Michael Jordan couldn't get anything done without Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman and the crew, and Phil Jackson. But you expect LeBron James, who has taken mediocre teams, worse teams, to win. And it's just kind of like, once again, the same thing they gave credit and praise to Michael Jordan for. Like, he was losing and winning. He was losing and winning player of the games. The same things they give credit towards Michael for, they don't when it comes to Kobe Bryant and when it comes to LeBron James. And that's how I know these two players, and Kobe Bryant's gone, God rest his soul, and LeBron James is still playing right now. That's why these two players, I consider them the top 3 players, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James, because they're the only 2 players in the history of the sport that ever really had a chance to surpass them. Some people think LeBron has already surpassed them, but those are the 2 players ever to really, if you look at it and you start breaking things down and you start looking at Jordan and what he had and what he didn't have, and start looking at Kobe and LeBron James, those are only two players in my mind that can compare to Michael Jordan, are truly basketball gods themselves. But I just wanted to point out that as great as Michael Jordan is in The Last Dance, we're getting to see all this. We're about to see for the next 4 weeks everything that took place in his last season. I just wanted to bring that out and bring that to the attention to the world, that same things that Michael Jordan got credit for, other basketball guys did not get the credit, and it's all because Michael Jordan was the first truly iconic basketball guy. And sometimes when you're the first player to do things, you kind of get that right. You have that advantage, and you kind of get to hold that standard to what everybody should be or be like, because you were the number one. You were that figure. So that's why when it comes to Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, the same things that Michael Jordan get credit for, those guys don't.